You walk into the grocery store for milk and bread. 20 minutes later, you're at the checkout with a cart full of things you didn't plan to buy, and your receipt shows $60 more than you expected. You tell yourself you have no self-control, that you're bad with money, that you just need more discipline. But what if I told you that your decision to grab that bag of chips, that bottle of wine, that box of cookies you didn't need, wasn't really your decision at all? What if the store was designed from the ground up to make you spend more? Not by accident, not as a side effect, but deliberately, scientifically, with surgical precision. Today, I'm going to show you how the building you walk through every week is actually a carefully engineered psychological trap. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a grocery store the same way again. Here's what most people believe. Grocery stores are just places where food is stored. The layout is about efficiency, right? Dairy in the back because it needs refrigeration. Produce up front because it's fresh. Everything else is just organized by category to make shopping easier. That's what I used to think too. But grocery stores aren't designed for your convenience. They're designed to maximize the amount of time you spend inside and the number of products you touch. Because there's a direct correlation between time spent in the store and money spent at the register. They've known this for decades. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not failing at self-control. You're succeeding exactly as the store designers predicted you would. Think about it. These companies spend millions of dollars researching human behavior. They hire psychologists, architects, sensory specialists, data analysts. They track your eye movements, your walking patterns, your hand reaching for products. They test different floor materials to slow you down. They adjust lighting temperatures to change your mood. They pump specific scents through the ventilation system to trigger hunger and nostalgia. You're not walking into a neutral space where you make rational decisions. You're walking into a behavioral laboratory where every single element has been A/B tested to exploit how your brain works. And the worst part? It's invisible. You can't see it happening. You walk out thinking you made choices, when really, you were guided through a predetermined path like a rat in a maze. But before you feel manipulated or angry, understand this. These tactics work because they tap into normal human psychology. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. The problem is that your ancient survival brain is now operating in a modern environment, specifically designed to override your logical thinking. So let's pull back the curtain. Let's talk about what's actually happening from the moment you walk through those automatic doors. The first thing you encounter when you enter almost any grocery store is the produce section. Fresh fruits, vibrant vegetables. Everything looks alive, colorful, healthy. It feels wholesome. And that's not an accident. This is called the decompression zone. The store wants you to slow down, take a breath, and shift your mindset from "I'm here to grab a few things" to "I'm here to shop." The produce section does something psychological. It makes you feel like you're making healthy choices. You're a good person. You're responsible. You put strawberries and spinach in your cart, and now your brain has given you permission to reward yourself later. Psychologists call this licensing. You did something virtuous. So now you're more likely to justify that impulse purchase in aisle 7. The ice cream, the cookies, the craft beer. You earned it, right? But here's where it gets more manipulative. Notice how the milk, eggs, and bread, the staples everyone actually needs, are always in the back corner of the store. You have to walk through the entire building just to grab a gallon of milk. This isn't about refrigeration logistics. It's about exposure. The average grocery store has between 30,000 and 50,000 different products. The store's goal is to get you to see as many of them as possible, because every product you see is another chance for an impulse buy. By putting essentials in the back, they force you to walk past thousands of items you didn't come for. And the path isn't random. Most stores are designed to guide you counterclockwise. This is based on research showing that most people are right-handed and tend to naturally navigate spaces by turning right. So stores position their highest margin products, the ones they really want you to buy, on the right side of the aisles at eye level. Eye level is critical. Products placed at eye level sell 35% more than products on lower or higher shelves. That's why the expensive name brands are right in your line of sight, while the cheaper store brands are down by your ankles. They're literally banking on the fact that you won't bend down. And it's not just about placement. It's about speed. Ever notice how grocery store floors near the entrance are often made of different materials? Sometimes tile, sometimes polished concrete. Then deeper in the store, it switches to something that feels different under your feet. That's intentional. The harder surfaces near the entrance make your cart sound louder, feel faster. It subconsciously encourages you to slow down once you get into the softer, carpeted or rubberized sections where the expensive products are. The lighting changes too. Brighter, wider lights in the produce section to make everything look fresh. Warmer, softer lighting in the wine and cheese sections to make you feel relaxed and indulgent. Harsh fluorescent lighting in the cleaning supplies aisle because they don't care if you linger there. Now let's talk about the end caps. Those displays at the end of every aisle, they're premium real estate. Brands pay thousands of dollars to get their products featured there because shoppers assume anything on an end cap is on sale or specially promoted. Sometimes it is. Often, it's not. But the placement alone increases sales by up to 400%. Your brain sees something at the end of an aisle and thinks, oh, this must be a deal. They're highlighting it, so you grab it without checking the price. And even if you do check, you're comparing it to nothing. There's no context. It just feels like a good opportunity. Then there are the impulse shelves at checkout. Candy, magazines, gum, energy drinks. You're tired. You've been shopping for 20 minutes. Your willpower is depleted. The line is slow. You're bored. And right there, within arm's reach, is a little dopamine hit that costs less than $3. This isn't random clutter. This is strategic placement based on what psychologists call ego depletion. Every decision you make throughout the store should. I buy this brand or that one. Do I need this? Is this a good price? Wears down your mental energy. By the time you're in line, your decision-making is compromised. You're more likely to say yes to small, irrational purchases. And here's something most people don't realize. Grocery stores are getting data on you even if you don't use a loyalty card. They track shopping patterns with cameras and sensors. They know how long people spend in each aisle. They know which products people pick up and put back. Some stores are experimenting with facial recognition to gauge emotional reactions to products and pricing. Your local grocery store probably knows more about your behavior than you do. But the manipulation goes even deeper than layout and lighting. Let's talk about smell. Many grocery stores pump the scent of fresh-baked bread or roasted chicken through the ventilation system near the entrance. Why? Because smell is directly linked to the limbic system, the emotional center of your brain. The smell of baking bread triggers feelings of warmth, home, comfort, and hunger, even if you just ate lunch. Studies show that ambient scent increases purchase intent by 15 to 20%, and it makes you remember the store more positively, so you're more likely to come back. Music matters too. Slower music makes you walk slower and spend more time in the store. Stores play tempo-controlled playlists specifically designed to regulate your pace. During busy times, they might speed up the music slightly to move people through faster. During slow times, they slow it down to make you linger. You're being orchestrated, literally. And portion sizes, product packaging, those aren't neutral either. Larger package sizes make you feel like you're getting a better deal, even when the per-unit price is higher. Family size or value pack labels trigger a psychological response. You think you're being smart and economical. But often, you're just buying more than you need. and a lot of it will spoil or go to waste. The store doesn't care. They already made the sale. Here's the thing that really bothers me about all of this. It's not illegal. It's not even considered unethical by most standards. It's just business, marketing, consumer psychology, optimization, but it's deeply manipulative. And it's designed to exploit people who are already stressed, already stretched thin, already trying to make smart decisions with limited time and mental energy. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not bad with money. You're a human being with normal brain wiring, walking through a machine designed to extract as much money from you as possible before you leave. So what do you do with this information? Because now that you know, you can't unknow it. Every time you walk into a grocery store from now on, you're going to see the matrix. You're going to notice the layout, the lighting, the music, the smells. You're going to see the manipulation happening in real time. And that awareness? That's your power. Here's the mindset shift. Stop treating grocery shopping like a casual errand. Treat it like a financial transaction that requires focus and intention, because it is. When you walk into that store, you're entering a space designed to separate you from your money. Not through force, but through friction, through subtle nudges, through psychological exploits that bypass your rational brain and target your emotional, impulsive, tired, hungry self. But here's the good news. Once you understand the game, you can choose not to play by their rules. You can design your own system, your own defenses, your own behavioral architecture that protects your wallet and your mental energy. This isn't about becoming paranoid or joyless. It's about reclaiming agency. It's about making decisions based on what you actually need and value, not what the store wants you to buy. And when you do that, something interesting happens. You don't just save money. You save mental energy. You reduce decision fatigue. You feel more in control. Shopping stops being this chaotic, stressful experience where you always overspend and feel guilty afterward. It becomes a simple, intentional task. In and out. Done. And that shift, that feeling of being in control of your choices instead of being controlled, that's worth more than the money you save. Let me give you some real, practical strategies that actually work. Not extreme, not unrealistic. Just smart. First, make a list. I know it sounds obvious, but here's the key. Make it specific and commit to it. Don't write snacks. Write 1 box of crackers. Be exact, and then follow it. No exceptions unless it's truly an emergency. When you walk into the store with a specific, detailed list, you're giving your brain a clear mission. You're not browsing, you're executing. That mental frame makes you less susceptible to impulse purchases. Second, eat before you shop. Seriously, this might be the most underrated money-saving advice that exists. Studies show that hungry shoppers spend 64% more than shoppers who aren't hungry. Your blood sugar directly affects your impulse control. When you're hungry, everything looks good. Everything feels necessary. Shopping on an empty stomach is like gambling when you're drunk. You're compromised. Third, use the perimeter strategy, but understand why. Most of the whole, unprocessed foods, produce, meat, dairy, are around the outer edges of the store. The processed, high-margin stuff is in the middle aisles. If you stick mostly to the perimeter, you're eating healthier and you're avoiding the psychological traps in the center aisles. But don't do this blindly. Sometimes you need things from the middle. Just be intentional. Go directly to the aisle you need, grab what's on your list, and leave. Don't wander. Wandering costs money. Fourth, ignore the end caps. Train yourself to skip them entirely. Assume they're not special. Assume they're not on sale. If you need something, go to the actual aisle where it normally lives and compare prices properly. Fifth, bring headphones. Listen to a podcast or music you've chosen. This disrupts the store's audio manipulation. It keeps your pace consistent. It keeps you focused. It blocks out the ambient sound design meant to slow you down and put you in a certain mood. Sixth, set a timer. Give yourself a specific amount of time to complete your shopping. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever makes sense for your list. This creates urgency and prevents browsing. It turns shopping into a focused task instead of an open-ended experience. Seventh, pay with cash or set a strict budget. When you use a card, spending feels abstract. Numbers on a screen don't trigger the same psychological pain as handing over physical money. If you can, withdraw the exact amount you've budgeted and leave your cards at home. When the cash is gone, you're done. And finally, shop less frequently. Every trip to the store is another opportunity for the manipulations to work. If you can consolidate your shopping into 1 or 2 trips per week instead of 4 or 5 quick runs, you'll dramatically reduce impulse purchases. These strategies aren't about deprivation. They're about protection. You're building a system that works for you instead of against you. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The grocery store isn't evil. The people who design these layouts aren't villains. They're just doing their jobs in a capitalist system that rewards maximizing profit. That's the game. But you don't have to be a passive player. You can be aware. You can be intentional. You can protect your attention, your energy, and your money. And when you do, something shifts. You stop feeling like you're constantly losing a battle you didn't know you were fighting. You start feeling like you're making real choices. Choices that align with your values, your goals, your actual needs. That gallon of milk you went in for? You get it and you leave. You don't come home with regret and a receipt that makes you wince. And over time, those small wins add up. Not just financially, but psychologically. You build confidence. You build discipline. You prove to yourself that you're not helpless against these systems. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're just finally seeing the game clearly. And once you see it, you can play differently. So next time you walk through those automatic doors, take a breath. Remember what you now know. And move through that space like someone who's in control. Because you are. If this video changed how you see grocery shopping, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I break down the hidden psychology behind everyday financial decisions, and I'd love to have you here for the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.